will we ever see Roman as champ again?
I don't think we do. Because if we see Roman as champ, like it's going to be hard for me to picture him having a short run, right? So, I don't see him taking the championship off of Cody Rhodes anytime soon. I think it's going to be in their best interest to separate Bloodline from Cody, at least for the time being in the upcoming draft. And maybe they split up the Bloodline completely. Who knows? So, him walking around with the world championship, like that doesn't feel right either. Like, you've come to associate Roman Reigns with that universal undisputed championship that he's had. So him walking around with the WWE's current version of the big gold belt just doesn't seem right. And I think that even though he's kind of earned that right of being the part-time champ, I honestly believe that Triple H wants to go away from, for at least a little bit, having a part-time champ. He wants to have the champion that is going to show up. Doesn't have to necessarily wrestle on every show, but is going to be there. And you can build segments around them because you need those. And those are going to be important over the course of the 5 hours of television that you have each and every week. So, plus, I wonder how much longer Roman's going to do this. I just don't know. He strikes me as someone, because of the schedule that he's on, that, okay, maybe he ends up going on a Bryan Danielson schedule, the way we've heard with Bryan, where he's not going to officially retire, but he's not going to be a full-time wrestler once this kind of whatever term ends that he has over in AEW.
So Roman's going down to Mexico to work AAA matches? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. But I could see him like coming back. I could see him being a modern-day Undertaker. Sure. You come back for Mania, maybe you show up and you kick Brock Lesnar in the dick and set up a SummerSlam match, things of that nature, but never really being the champ again.
Yeah, I think that you nailed it, Gabe. I don't believe that Roman Reigns will be the Universal or World Heavyweight Champion. And it's not to say that Roman's old. We're not saying that at all. No. I mean, as far as a champion, man, he's been in the lawn chair. I mean, Mike, he's had his big matches, but he's not on the road. I'll make a modern reference for once. He hasn't even been on the road like Cena did with his, how many was 15 championships? Like Cena was still grinding while he was champion.
Well, even when Cena wasn't champion, like even in the times he's come back when they did Summer of Cena a couple of years ago, like there was a house show in Milwaukee. I mean, the place was packed because Cena was at the house show in Milwaukee. Like things that he doesn't have to do. Like he's been in the big movies already, and then I've got time off. So, but Cena is, if he's going to do WWE, he's going to do WWE. Like he's going to make sure he hits all the towns because that's just who John Cena is.
And this reign is different from others because, hey, we've seen multi-time champions before.
Yeah.
Whether it's, Triple H and Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker. But see, when they lost the championship, they were still on the road, right? Sure. They were still wrestling. And so this feels a lot different with Roman Reigns because Roman Reigns, Universal Champion all this time. And so if he walks away, that's actually good. So that way, when he comes back, it's fresh. Sure. And I don't see him in the world title picture at all. Now, here's what I do see. I do see him as a tag champion at some point. But as far as being a solo champion, that's not happening. No, and it's not because the crowd will be tired of it. It's just that to me, I just feel like, is he still part of the bloodline? Yes. Will he have his matchup against The Rock at some point? Yes, right. That's going to happen. But as far as the title picture, Roman doesn't need it. WWE doesn't need him to be in that title picture anymore. He did his share. He did what he needed to do. Now it's time to move on. But I do see him maybe being a tag champion at some point because all the old veterans do. We saw Ric Flair, Roddy Piper tag champions. Like, what is this now? Why? but it happens. And I don't think he needs the title anymore.
Yeah, and I think to me, the point you said that sticks out is like WWE doesn't need him. Like we started this show 2 years ago. Roman was already champion. And one of our biggest theme is there were no other challengers. Like they needed Roman as a champion. It was Roman or Brock. Like there was nothing else that was built up. And somehow over these last 6 months or so, and it could 100% be just the Paul Levesque era, they've built up contenders. You can go through a whole list of Cody, Seth, Gunther, Drew, Punk. There are a lot of candidates that can be world champion now that you didn't have 3 years ago. So you don't need Roman as champion. There are plenty of options to roll through, plenty of great matchups to make. And I think that's why WWE doesn't need it anymore.